Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boom Bust channel, Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry. And today, recapping our, what week is this? 8 loss. I promise I'm not going to go long this time. At the end of the day, we lost on the Hail Mary. But to be honest, the game might as well just been a 50-50 play, because I can't sit here and say that we really deserved that win. I know a lot of people say, well, the defense held them, no touchdowns. I'm like, well, yes, I think definitely there's most of the game you got to give credit, but we did have some bad play on defense too. Now it doesn't come close to the offense, but I'm just saying, like, with the penalties, obviously with the offensive efficiency and production, and then with some of our issues on defense too, I think just all combined, I can't say we deserve to win that game. Like that should have been I don't even feel strongly saying we should have won that game. And yes, the missed touchdown is part of that too. You don't get to make that outside of our mistakes. That was our mistake. So I think I can't say we deserved it. But at the same time, like I said, you recognize how just much of a team we fought and stayed in it and kind of put ourselves in position. And so most of that goes off to the hats off to the defense, but then some of that respect to the offense for finally kind of pulling their weight at the end of the game. But it sucks, man. It's bittersweet. I know that much. Again, I'm not going to sit here and shake my fist and say we were the better team today, but I will say that it sucks to lose on that type of play. And I happen to be, and I'm a little superstitious just when it comes to the Bears, but I almost feel like, because I was going to pick something up, and I was like, I feel like, because I got in the car, I was like, I got to go get this right now. So I was like, okay, I could stay and watch, or I'm just listening on the radio. And I feel almost like, because I got in the car, we lost, but obviously it wasn't on me. But anyway, I was listening to the radio, so I happened to be flipping through channels to hit a reaction. And everybody was so pissed saying that we messed up on defense. Not really. I mean, I think it's pretty clear, even though without the all 22, we were defending the end zone, but the ball was underthrown. Like that, I thought that was obvious. Like that's why it bounced into the end zone. So they on the radio was making it seem like we weren't defending the end zone. Why was a guy sitting by himself? That's not. We were in the end zone. Ball was underthrown. Everybody rallied up, and that's why the guy was behind us. But even with that being said, there were mistakes on that. Number one, I won't say the number one mistake. I'm not a Hail Mary expert, but prevent defense. The two things I know is you don't want everyone jumping at once. That's what you don't want. Like, you could box out the receivers and all that, but it's the same thing on interceptions. You got two guys going for the ball. They knock each other out, or they knock the ball down. And so same thing concept here. Not to say that we should have caught the interception, but if we had too many guys jumping into each other and the ball just ricocheted off one of us. So, making that communication, have designated guys to go up. And number two, you bat it down. Honestly, I watched it, and maybe we got to zoom in, but it looked like it hit off someone's shoulder. So I can't sit here because, again, on the radio, they were like, why you bat the ball down? That's ridiculous. That's football 101. You don't try to intercept it. And I don't necessarily know that's what we did. I just think it bounced off someone's shoulder or pads. That's what it looked like to me. But either way, disappointing way to lose that game. So as far as the game, I mean, the offense, and we'll see on the all 22. But as I said in the community throughout the game, much like defense, where it's a fine line, not a fine line. I don't know the word I'm thinking of, but it's kind of like a pendulum where your pass rush and your coverage have to kind of balance each other out. So if you got bad pass rush, you need better coverage and reverse that. On the offensive side, it's the same thing with decision making and pass pro. The worse your pass pro is, the better your decision making has to be, or at least quicker, I should say. And Caleb, as good as he was against the Jags with this, he was not very good this time. And again, we'll look at the all 22 to see what's downfield. But either way, and I don't mean decision as in force the ball. I mean, are you going to throw it away? Are you going to take off and run? Are you going to make this pass? Like, whatever your decision is, you got to make it quicker. Just because our offensive line is not able to give him that time. And then Braxton goes down, and I'm glad you won that much better, to be honest with you. So, and then Matt Pryor is rough, man. Our O-line is rough in general, just all around. So when you got that situation, and we know Caleb he tends to be a big play hunter. He tends to obviously want to extend the play. He rarely gives up on the play. And coming off the Jags game where it felt like, okay, he's evolving past that, we kind of get back into that space again today. And we all know what's going to happen. Sometimes he's going to make big plays. Sometimes he's going to put himself in trouble trying to extend the play like that. And then the run game, I mean, the run game hasn't been special all season, so that wasn't shocking to me. Washington isn't like the greatest run defending team, but it wasn't shocking to me. It took a little time to get going, but we burst it open with that big run with the reverse inside handoff. That was cool. Got to the perimeter, but you know, again, just the offensive struggles was kind of the name of the game. I mean, it's not much more that you can really say. And I think we'll get more information once we get to the film tomorrow, and I could kind of get a sense of what we were calling. But just on Caleb himself, again, missed throws, especially deep, just his decision making overall. And then defensively, like I said, we were giving up yards, especially early. And I won't even necessarily say it was anything we were doing wrong. I just think with the pass rush, and it's the same story it's been for a long time, especially when you got a quarterback that's really good. You don't have any pressure. That's what's going to happen to him. And Jaden not only passing the ball, but running the ball and just keeping the flow of the offense going. But he's a dangerous dude, man. That dude's worse than Lamar. I'm sorry. I don't care what nobody say. And because he gets in the open field, not even open field, but when he presses the line of scrimmage, it's tough. Like, Pat Mahomes makes you think when he presses the line of scrimmage. So does Josh Allen. But Lamar and Jaden, they make you nervous. They really might mess you up. And I feel like TJ Edwards got juked up because a lot of times guys like to catch guys like that because they're skinny and they don't want to, kind of miss. But the problem with that is you giving him space to now maneuver, juke you out, whatever. And he's fast enough to gain the edge on you really quickly. Guys like that, you got to run at. And I just feel like a lot of times guys like to catch runners like Lamar, Kyler, and all that. And I think that's one of the mistakes. So anyway, but he made some great plays, man. I mean, you see Caleb do this wild stuff in the pocket, and I think Jaden, man, was just as impressive today. But obviously his accuracy, the difference is eye-opening between him and Caleb, especially on the deep passes. So he was cooking early, but the adjustments in the halftime with the blitzing, I think, was really strong. But overall, so we really had Sanborn play a lot. So technically we were in base. So instead of playing with a backup nickel, whoever that was, we played Sanborn a lot because they were running on us early, and I saw that switch. So we pretty much were in base most of the game, and for the most part, Sanborn did a good job. Once we slowed the run down, then we could kind of sit on over the top and just play coverage. But obviously, we had the bust earlier in the game where McLaurin gets the giant play. And you got Stevenson 1-on-1, which is ridiculous because he should be playing off anyway and deep, but still. So we had that mistake, but then we tightened it up, and then by the second half we started blitzing a lot more, making Jaden uncomfortable. He still made plays, but I really think we sped his clock up, and we just had good coverage overall. We had sound coverage, and that's the thing. If it's going to be a second play, hey, you just got to play ball. If he's going to scramble, hey, that's going to happen. But if we don't give up any coverage busts, we stay within our sound scheme, you see, we don't have a pass rush, unfortunately, but you see that those opportunities for coverage sacks and flush outs happen because the zones were just really tight. And so, but that, especially with our starters, that's been a calling card even since last year. So that's what you expect. And again, a lot of credit to the defense. We did some poor things, but we didn't break, and the Ertz touchdown's debatable. You can have that discussion. You got to survive the ground. And so it was a real close. You had to decide, when the ball moves in his hand, is it enough to say he doesn't have possession? Like Stevenson ripping it out doesn't matter. It was when he hit the ground, did the ball move enough? And so that was a close call, but the rest of it, I think it was just us stepping up in the red zone. Even though we let them get down there that many times, obviously we kept ourselves in the game by not letting them score. So, man, just a real tough one. But I'll be interested to get to the film to see what the offense was struggling with. But, I mean, you got to remember, this is, next to the Ravens, one of the most efficient, like, high-performing defenses or offenses in the league. And to see what we were able to do with them, even with two backups. So the defense, and I heard a couple people on national TV saying that the Bears defense hasn't proven anything yet, which is silly because it's 10 of the same starters from last year where we were a top unit. But I think that puts that to rest today. We understand what we got on defense. And then offensively, you hate to see it, but I would have to say Caleb took a step back from last game. And I don't think the Commanders are overly that much talented. They are more disciplined, but I don't think they're overly that much more talent than the Jags. And so, just a tough one today. But that's it for me. Go down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. I know everybody's mad. Share around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, remember, stay up and bear down.